Hello, welcome to Game 3 between Kappa and Furaime in this ALTTPR main tournament Group P. These guys are, in fact, this is Game 3, 1-1, which means that each of them have actually taken a piece of their pie. This is, of course, the ultimate game that decides who will end up advancing within the group in order to face the winner of Aussie and Scrub Casual. I'm joined today by Homemade Beer. Homemade Beer, how are you doing today? Are you excited?
Hey, Claymhouse. Yeah, doing well. I'm really excited for this. Very jet seed in the last race. So let's see what happens in this one. I think the first one was pretty troll, the one that we calmed.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. Yeah, I mean that was right. So I guess for those of you who didn't quite end up catching the full 2 matches earlier, yeah. So Homemade Beer and I actually are back for round 2. Of course these guys are for round 3. That seed unfortunately had some pretty terrible item placements, namely both runners ended up last locationing their boots in Pendant Thieves Down in the maiden cell, and then even though the hammer was on top of the library in plain sight, it was unfortunately the hook shot was locked all the way in Spike Cave, which definitely was not a pleasant experience for our runners. But at least luckily the RNG RNG gods, I guess, kind of smiled upon these guys on the second game, ended up giving them boots in Kakariko Well, and they ended up finishing the seed sometime in like, I don't know, hour and 10, something like that, really fast.
Yeah, it was, I think, 1:06 to 1:08.
Yeah,
quite
crazy. That's right, yeah, quite the difference compared to like the hour and like, I don't know, 45 minutes or something in the first game. All right, as our way, we are started. I believe Uncle told us that red mail is for cowards. So that's great because we are very brave today. We are definitely not going to be seeing red mail in this game today.
Yeah, we also got a quick map check. I think I saw a red crystal at Eastern, regular crystal at Desert, and I didn't catch Hera.
Yeah, that map check was definitely too fast for me, so I assume at some point we're going to get another map check, so we'll definitely get some confirmation. Oh my gosh, dude!
Wow.
Alright, this is like the best boots I think I've seen like in this entire tournament. We have boots at check number 3, right? We've got something not so interesting in Link's house, our house. We've got 10 bombs, which is actually going to be a really nice start for both our runners. But most importantly, we have the boots. We can move super fast and escape immediately.
Yeah, both items in the Uncle area allow them to open the back, so no chance they'll be missing the items in the back of the escape today.
Oh yeah, yeah. I guess actually, so last game they ended up having a sword start. Of course, coupled with these boots, that's going to be making escape even faster. For those of you who play the randomizer, some with the set in casual boots, that's pretty much what that would have been. But looks like actually these runners are just as adept with using bomb strats. Some really nice strategies actually on both runners' sides in order to use 2 bombs to kill that blue guard almost instantaneously.
Yeah, and doing a good job knocking him downward as well, so picking up the key is convenient on the way through the door. Very nice.
Yeah, unfortunately on Kappa side we do see a slight hiccup as to why we actually prefer some sort of a sword, so we can actually dash without being interrupted. A little bit of trouble there at Kappa's side with the bomb to kill the green guard, but otherwise, gets out of the second try. Looks like the blue guards though are giving them no troubles whatsoever.
Yeah, very nicely done again.
So unfortunately, Kappa ended up spending an extra bomb in order to kill that green guard. However, as you mentioned, Homemade Beer, we have boots. We are not going to be really in any danger of be able to access the back of the escape.
Yeah, should have no problem. Just have to deal with the key rat. It's the final troll of the dungeon here.
Yeah, that's right. We see both runners. I'm actually taking the extra time to kill that green guard because you really don't want to get interrupted while you're trying to spot this the ball and chain guard here.
Yeah, and the last item in Zelda's cell confirms a small key and dark cross in order to complete the dungeon.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the map yet. I don't know if it's just I just like missed it or we actually haven't seen it. But if we end up not finding the map earlier and we end up finding all the rest of the items in the back of Escape, it would actually be a very small time save for both these runners in order to not pick up the last chest right outside of Sanctuary.
Yeah, they can just dash right out.
Oh man, I'm so happy that these guys have boots early on. Actually, in fact, it seems like for most of the seeds so far in brackets, there's only been like a handful of seeds where boots have actually been relatively early. Maybe on Race Game, Cackwell, like what these guys had earlier. Of course, boots pretty much in Secret Tunnel of Uncles is going to be the earliest I think I've seen so far. Otherwise, it was like boots on Pendant, Vitreous, boots in GT, like boots MIA. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's after a while you would really like the boots, in order to go fast and not have like a boost the seed, or at least not have boost for like an hour, hour plus or something like that.
Yeah, these seeds start to feel really long when you find the boots in GT after you've been walking through the entire game trying to complete all the dungeons. So it's definitely nice to have early, and of course, hopefully you couple that with a sword.
Yeah, so as you said, in Dark Cross, we did see Furaime, and right now on Kappa side, the requisite small key we need in order to get to the back is of course in the Dark Cross chest. And so this is going to be the last major challenge Furaime looking like. He is actually going to opt to try and throw the bomb. Does not get it the first time, so decides to take more suicidal strat and just hold the bomb and walk right up to the the rat.
Yeah, definitely the safest way to ensure getting it, but got to make sure that you have enough health to do so. These guys both get it very easily.
Oh man! Alright, so see, it is already looking so much better already. We have a sword in addition to our boots here right in this game. This is pretty much just like a casual boot suit at this point.
Yeah, it's turning into that, isn't it?
Nice, yes. Alright, so I think I actually did see a little bit of a time save on Kappa's side. Actually opting to bonk open the top wall, and so he can actually just get out just slightly faster. You do see some runners being able to take that without boots, just if they have like a plethora of bombs. But otherwise, if you can't really have access to that, runners just kind of opt to not bomb it, take this very, very small time loss, just kind of walk out the bottom.
Yeah, it's definitely caught up a bit there in the end of Escape with the troll key rat and then bonking out of the top as well.
Yeah, oh, so nice. All right, so this is a pretty standard opening, I guess, for casual boots. You get out of Escape. First thing, of course, you can do with these boots is you can bonk, just like we can check bonk rocks. Nothing really exciting, just 20 rupees, but of course, early money is always going to be a nice thing. We want some money in order to be able to afford the things that we want in Kakariko, such as the bottle vendor, which is 100 rupees.
Yeah, and one of the other things we're seeing is checking Lumberjack Ledge, because one of the required items to get it is the boots, and getting up here is it's much faster when you have them. So
yeah, yeah, certainly something that in casual boots, as you said, it's especially if you're coming up here to do Lost Woods, doing your tree pull, spending out what resources you have available to you, you're probably not going to get any closer to checking Lumberjack than you already are right now, especially since you have the boots, right? You can just run up here and check it, and then immediately. Kappa, though, somehow, he is on 1 heart. I didn't even notice that until right now. So hopefully he just needs to, survive until Kakariko. We really, don't really want to, death warp on the overworld.
Yeah, that would be bad. And so I think we saw Tier 1 and Tier 2 tree pulls from the 2 runners, and they were 8 bombs and 4 bombs, or 4 bombs and 8 bombs respectively. So not going to be short bombs this entire seed at any point.
Yeah, and somehow Kappa ended up, he farmed out a full magic refill, which is exactly what the crow dropped. Unfortunately, Furaime just kind of ran right past it. He does have, enough, I think, magic. Certainly not needed right now unless he wants to eat or something, in which case he also has enough.
Yeah, if they have ether to do mini Moldorm, it's just like pretty safe to just do it real quick. You know, it takes a few seconds for the thing, but a lot of times chasing them down with fighter sword and boots is more trolly. So you might as well just ether the cave. We'll see if they do that here.
Well, so maybe the most notable thing we found in Blind Cells, or Blind Huts so far, is at least for Kappa, he got a full health refill.
Yeah,
since
that's nice.
Since he was low on life there. Other than that, just a couple of 20 rupees, nothing really to write home about.
Yeah, not much so far. A shovel.
Yeah, at least the shovel is nice. In that both runners coming from the north of the village. Okay, and the hammer. That's a pretty dang good item.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But at least for the shovel, because both runners came from the north, and they're gonna most likely go from like a north to south route, they're just gonna be able to check the shovel pretty completely. Are we seeing some spin speed on Kappa's side?
Yeah, it looks like he just missed it, so.
Yeah, oh, it's unfortunate.
But yeah, with the 300 rupee drop in the well and another 20 here, they're getting pretty close to Zora money, and it's pretty common play, especially with the boots. Even if you don't have the Moon Pearl, you can still, once you do Ice Rod Cave, you can set up a water walk and still check what's in Waterfall Ferry. So let's see if they end up doing that here. If they can come up with enough money to make them want to go check Zora.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good point. And I certainly do know that some runners decided, definitely don't want to like visit, like Ice Rock Cave or something like that, without basically like 500 rupees, because it's kind of like an out of the way check already, and they would really like to be able to combine that with the flipper checks.
Yeah, and we see Furaime pop into the bar real quick to check in with the old man, and he told him, if you haven't found Quake yet, it's not your fault.
Thank you for checking. Alright, looks like Furaime as actually slightly divergent to Kappa is going to blind check the race game. But Kappa though, with that shovel paying off already, we have actually a fire source immediately. Also doubles up as a light source in some rooms if there are torches. So certainly does put some rooms in here in logic. Oh.
Yeah, if you can put the Eastern Palace boss in logic with the fire rod if you find the big key early. So.
Yeah, looks like Furaime is also going to head over to the dig spot. This is going to be a pretty. He is going to, unlike Kappa, he's going to shovel dash up. Always pretty cool to see.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, one of the really nice benefits of having a sword and boots early is that you are allowed to item dash. Another actually really great feature of Japanese 1.0 version.
Yeah, definitely fun to see when you try to play like any of the later versions and realize that item dashing isn't a thing.
Alright, actually, so it looks like, all things said and done, Furaime is actually about one check, or just actually a couple screens right behind Kappa. Both runners are probably taking a very similar route. Certainly very expected, we have sword, we have boots. Mini Moldorm Cave is a pretty, commonplace. We have 5 items. And no real direction currently, from the items that we've ended up picking up so far.
Oh, found Quake.
We found Quake, and we found flippers. Oh, and wow, what a loaded cave.
Okay.
Wow.
We should rename the cave.
Yeah. So, in terms of, we have some direction now for where we could end up going with that. Of course, with the flippers, we do all flipper checks and logic. With that bow, though, and potentially that fire rod, as you said, we actually potentially could full clear Eastern Palace.
Yeah, and we see Furaime with the ether strats there that I was talking about too, but Kappa still made it look easy with the one bomb toss to the left and then just taking out the mini moldworms. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, mini
Both valid
moldworms.
strats.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mini moldworms, of course, can be I guess less your enemy or more your enemy, just because their movements are somewhat erratic. So.
Yeah. Little trolls. And Kappa's setting up the water walk, so see if he skips Hobo today.
Hobo actually is a very interesting. He does not. So actually, yeah. So from game 1, Kappa ended up skipping Hobo pretty early. Ended up not costing him anything. Game 2, though, Hobo ended up having the Titan Smiths, which Kappa did not end up finding until much later than when Furaime did. When Furaime ended up sequence breaking Hobo. Looks like he does not want to get bitten today, though. Nothing of value, of course.
Safe.
Yeah. Alright, Furaime, though, very consistent. This is his 3rd seed against Kappa. This is going to be his 3rd Hobo check with the flippers.
Yeah, I think without the money to do Zora, Kappa's gonna wait on checking that area for now. Head over to Saha and Eastern and see what they can dig up.
Yeah, looks like Furaime is actually just mirroring and fast following Kappa in his path over to Eastern Palace. We found the Moon Pearl in the back of Sahashula's closet, and Kappa actually deciding to not talk to Sahashula to find out what a green pendant is. I believe, actually, according to Lady, our awesome tracker for today, she has actually lit up that looks like both Eastern and Hera are 5/6 crystals.
Ah, yeah, okay, so it was a crystal in Hera that Kappa scouted early.
Alright, so that means actually we can actually potentially have a very fast seed, because we know that all 3 pendants are going to be in the Dark World, and the chances of some of the longest dungeons like Turtle Rock or Mire actually could be pendants.
Yeah, maybe maybe we're looking at another jet seed on our hands. Let's see how this plays out over the next few checks here.
Alright, looks like Furaime ended up getting the spin speed on the stairs as well. Gonna be able to let him basically use the boot speed without having to kind of like restart his dash every single time he wants to turn. But this is so nice. So of course, this is where kind of like muscle memory ends up breaking for some NMG runners, because you're not privileged enough to have the boots this early. So of course, Eastern Palace is kind of by design almost. We do have something that if you ever come back to this place with the boots, it's actually really nice movement, just because we have so many long hallways that we can take.
Yeah, definitely much easier to navigate with the boots. But yeah, we see Furaime just about, like you were saying earlier, about 1 check behind so far. So curious to see what we do find in Eastern, if there's anything in here, or if flippers are the answer.
So I think we did see 1 item out of Eastern already in the first chest. Was that right? It was not a compass, right?
Yeah, and we saw the big key early, so the boss is in logic here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is actually going to be a good question. Looks like Kappa actually with the 50-50 shot of the last item being in the vanilla big key chest versus on the boss. Kappa looks like he is going to go over to full Armos. As you said, this is completely in logic, because we saw that Kappa used the fire rod in order to light the torches, so he can actually see. So technically, we can actually get to the back.
Yeah, and taking the rupee farm room here is smart, because in case nothing shows up here, you can go straight to Zora after this and not have to look for rupees another way.
Alright, we do see a bit of a divergence here. Furaime is going to opt to go to the vanilla big key chest. So I
Ooh,
think this
interesting.
is, yeah, so this is, I think, roughly a minute's worth of difference, maybe? Maybe a little less.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, so if, of course, this is actually just 50-50. So if Kappa ends up finding the compass on Armos, he is going to absolutely know he's going to leave one item behind. Furaime, on the other hand, is actually still consistent, being very thorough with all of his checks. He's going to make sure that he doesn't have anything orphaned.
Yeah, this will give you a nice little lead if there's nothing here, so we'll find out. And, ooh, compass.
Yeah, so it looks like at least on Kappa's side, gambling to not visit the vanilla big key chest is going to be a time save for him. Where Armos, very nicely done for a quick kill, is actually has our third item, which is just another piece of art. So Eastern Palace coming up pretty empty, other than just that crystal.
Yeah, with our first crystal at 18 minutes. Not bad so far.
This is the power of casual boots in
Yeah.
hard standard. Okay, so Kappa actually taking the time in this case in order to pick up, I think it was like the 90 rupees in the back of Eastern Palace. He doesn't have enough money to go over to pay off King Zora.
Yeah, it's a good question where Furaime is going to go find that, actually.
We are nickeling and are diming our way in towards money. At least, you know, when Furaime ends up using Waterfall Fairy, he'll have another 20 rupees. Kappa, though, is probably actually more interested in that half magic.
Yeah, missing that on the race last night. I think Zora and Agina are last two checks, if I'm counting right.
In logic, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and it does not actually look like it. Furaime, though, looks like he is actually going to try and maybe get some money. He is going to be able to get 40 rupees, because we did see a 20 on Zora Ledge, and yeah, this is a very, very important 500 that he needs to pick up, because as we just saw, yeah, so that is not only some more access.
Yeah, there's no way to, well, there is a way with boots to Houlihan, I think, or maybe you need the glove and boots. I forget. No, you can do it without. So you can set up a Houlihan with the boots by bonking the tree above the bonk rocks and then running all the way over to the fairy drop down. But yeah, without that money, not going to be able to get the gloves. And oh, look, we have a map check here. So Thieves Town and Pod are pendants, with Meyer being the green pendant. But yeah, it's pretty hard if you don't know that to have enough money to get the only progression that Furaime is going to need.
Yeah, well, so the good news is that there is 20 more rupees on Zora's line, so he is just going to have a little bit of a time loss if he ends up, you know, going all the way around for it. He doesn't know that yet. It looks like he's actually still trying to dig up some money.
Yeah, this always feels bad. It was really heads-up play by Kappa to pick those up out of Eastern Palace when he did.
Yeah, Furaime, though, is employing this shovel, though. He ended up picking up, I think, 7 more rupees?
It's getting close.
Yeah, but yeah, it's,
maybe try and farm the Zoras.
Yeah, it's definitely, as you said, though, like, this type of feeling in order to get money is probably not going to be a great feeling.
Yeah, Zoras with a heart drop won't find anything there.
Okay, so I did see, I know that Kappa visited Hype Cave. I'm not actually sure if I ended up catching anything. That was,
it was all bombs on like a 20.
Okay, so not important at all. Okay, got it.
Yeah, classic Hype Cave.
Looks like Furaime, though, really wants to be able to find 8 more rupees. Looks he does not want to go around in order to pick up the 20.
Yeah, this will feel real bad, especially finding the glove here and realizing that he needed to do this, essentially.
Alright, though, meanwhile, though, Kappa has already made his way into Dark Worlds, and, you know, with the Fire Rod in hand, and a fighter sword in order to cut the curtain in the back. With a hammer and half magic, we are going to be able to complete our next crystal dungeon very shortly.
Yeah, this should be a relatively easy fight with the amount of health and the hammer. Let's see. Let's see if we find anything back here. Seems like it makes a lot of sense, you know, coming into this side and being able to do this right away, get another crystal done.
Yeah, and of course, you know, if Mothula ends up having the item, right, it's a very common strategy for runners to do the dungeon from back to front because there are only 2 items here in Skull Woods, you know, a bunch of keys and dungeon items that we don't really care too much about. So, you know, if Mothula and this one has, you know, your 2 items, you're just done. You don't have to visit anything else in the whole dungeon. Fortunately, that's not the case today. We do see a small key, so Kappa, given that he has like 9 hearts or something, he probably, you know, feels like just walking back to the front of the dungeon instead of trying to death warp is going to be faster.
Yeah, that death warping takes time when you're this healthy, even on green mail. And a nice fairy drop.
Yeah. Of course, Fast Magic, you know, makes these Gyptos go away lickety split. We can just spam the Fire Rod. And of course, any extra amount of Fire Rod shots that you have, you know, especially being on Fighter Sword, is just going to be, you know, extra damage. We do have the hammer, which in this case you only need 4 hits from the hammer because it does 10% damage. But the hitbox of that hammer, though, is pretty unpredictable.
Yeah, this is another one of those fights where you can use spin speed strats to extend the hitbox out and give yourself better movement. It's very commonly seen on Helmosaur.
Yeah, so with that Fire Rod, though, Kappa basically looks like he just kind of spammed his way through to a nice comfy victory, claiming his 2nd crystal.
Yeah, well done. No, Furaime is still a bit broke. Gonna go farm some more money.
All right, so this time he at least remembers that he needs money for Dig Game. Being only having 32 is not going to be enough to pay up the 80 rupees necessary. Of course, you know, Furaime is actually doing like a very, a relatively, pretty straightforward setup. If you actually just stand right next to the guy and I think fire arrow, like, there are some visual cues for I think when like the 2nd curtain hits the lamb or something like that, you're always going to be able to get 5 shots in.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And you know, making it look easy with a bit of practice, you know, it's pretty free. So, and then digging up a bunch of money, of course.
Yeah, at least, you know, luckily we've afforded the most expensive things that we need to basically, you know, afford. The chess game is 30 rupees, and I think the blacksmith is 10 rupees. So we don't think, you know, outside of maybe like buying another safety or maybe buying some more bombs, although we really can't see them buying bombs at this point, they're not going to need too much more money after this.
Yeah, and we don't know if pod's required at this point, so you don't really need to spend the money for that either.
Alright, so we did get a bottle from the Dig Game. That's actually our first bottle, actually, come to think of it.
Yeah,
so that does unlock Sick Kid. Looks like Furaime is going to delay his trip back to the village, though, for another time, because he is going to opt to sequence break up the mountain. Looks like Kappa had a little bit of trouble. Looks like trying to get to the big key chest, or sorry, the big chest. But otherwise, I assume he pulled out both items in the front of.
Yeah, it came up pretty dead. The first item was a piece of heart, and then 3 bombs in the big chest. So.
Oh, well, that's.
At least the boss is dead.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's a pretty nice sequence break from Furaime. So we did see Furaime's screen going, pretty black for a while. We do need the lamp to put that item in Trip and Logic. But the old man has the Cane of Samaria for us. That's going to be definitely required for Turtle Rock. Otherwise, also just a really nice offensive item, too.
And we also saw a sword on bumper ledge, but without a cape, not able to pick it up yet. And it's good knowledge to have in case you find a cape along the way and, you know, looking for another sword, just pop right over and grab it.
That, yes, you're right. No, that's actually good knowledge, especially since we are on the hard item pool. There are 4 swords in the item pool. However, sometimes swords can be buried, and there's definitely been, it's definitely not uncommon for some of these tournament seeds to be on a sword go mode, or you're on master sword, and if you know where a temper sword is and it's accessible to you, it's definitely going to save you a ton of time, especially on Ganon.
Yeah, it's most of the time it's worth grabbing. And Furaime broke a bit of logic here to do Spike Cave with the blue bottle he found at Dig Game and pulled out a bag of magic powder, so that's pretty curious to see.
Yeah, and also this... Alright, so there's
okay.
Alright, so that put the lamp that Kappa just found in the front of Thieves Town, kind of put everything, you know, in logic for us with a nice pretty ribbon. But I was going to say that this is actually really efficient, or really fortunate for Furaime, because you know, he actually delayed his trip back to the village and reduced Sick Kid, so now he can actually do Magic Bat as well.
Yep. Yeah, Sick Kid and Magic Bat, nice 2 checks that are sort of out of the way, unless you make your way back here like you had to do.
I'm wondering if you know, these runners are kind of trying to use some of their knowledge they had from the first game, your first 2 games they played, because, you know, like, so Kappa ended up kind of getting you know, left out from Hobo check on the last game, and Furaime ended up kind of getting left out from Spike Cave in game 1.
Oh yeah.
So he probably really just want to make sure that, you know, these locations don't screw them over.
Yeah, and I'm just remembering now that Thieves Town was a pendant, so Kappa only went in to check the front 4, and finding that lamp is always nice.
Oh yeah,
you did not find the lamp last time, right?
That is actually very correct. Yeah. So game 2, Kappa was losing. I didn't have 2 quality of life items that Furaime had. One was the lamp, and one was half magic. And actually, in fact, Kappa was pretty rueful of his performance in Mystery Mire, because the basement he unfortunately had to do, you know, completely in the dark. And you know, that's whereas Furaime ended up having the lamp, so he could, you know, do it a lot faster.
Yeah, it's one of those rooms that's never fun in the dark, no matter what. So. But yeah, seeing today that the Magic Bat only had $20, so nice quality of life item for powdering the anti-fairies, but not required for the seed today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't often see runners really, especially at the skill level, using the powder all that much in the, I guess, like early to mid game. Although, you know, certainly can save your life in some clutch moments. But I would say the powder is probably the most notable when you are on the top of Ganon's tower, and you have kind of like those 2 anti-fairies right before Moldorm 2. It's always really nice to be able to have powder there in order to get like basically a full health refill right before you're finding, you know, Ganon.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the best places to have it. Just, you know, in case anything happened on the climb, you know, which it never happens.
Oh, of course, no, of course not. Speaking of which, you know, so as Furaime is going to kind of clean up Mothula and Skullwood to basically, you know, I assume he's just going to do the same route as what we saw Kappa did earlier. Kappa, though, is going to opt to do Pendant Pod.
Yeah, we definitely saw, we're seeing, like, it looks like a bit of, Furaime is a bit behind in the sense of the checks that he's doing that Kappa's already completed, but most of that was just the money hunt, I believe, for, you know, being able to get the gloves from Zora. And then, you know, the trip up the mountain, so, you know, at some point Kappa goes up the mountain as well, and if he finds the flute, he saves a bit of time there, so we'll see.
Yeah, but I certainly assume, especially with that lamp, Kappa is definitely going to rescue the old man. So he's you know, so at some point he's going to basically take that same amount of time. That was a pretty, you know, decent moth fight also on Furaime's side. I think the moth ended up behaving a bit better for him. Wasn't, I guess, as stuck in corners as I think we saw Kappa did. But yeah.
Yeah, just able to laser him down with that fire rod. Kappa getting zapped by the blueberry there.
Oh yeah, we love berries.
Sorry,
Oh.
very.
But you know, luckily though, we ended up finding a second sword here in Palace of Darkness. If Kappa can get some health and get sword beams, that is like the best weapon against Baris because
Yes.
we don't have to suffer any amount of electrocution. We can just kill them from afar.
Yeah, so that's nice too with that. You know, being in Pendant Pod now and finding a sword, we'll be able to get tempered, potentially. You know, finding the cape. So.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a great sense of humor by the game? It's like you just put like the cape in like GT or something, or like another pendant method that's like absolutely buried. It's like okay, thanks. Game.
Yeah, thanks game. You know, cape at validation chest. One of those seeds. You know, we don't want to curse the seed just yet.
You're right. You know, this seed is already, I think, pretty good, right? They found boots on the 3rd check. They found a sword in like the 5th check or something. You know, everything was basically an escape. So, you know, at least they can have some fun, you know, playing the seed.
Yeah.
And at least Kappa is on Master Sword, right? Like, he doesn't need any more swords to finish the game. It would be nice, of course, in order to get Tempered Sword, but certainly not strictly required.
Yeah, we haven't really seen any real progression though for a while now. So I guess it's either the only thing we've really not seen at this point is like Pod and Catfish. Is that right?
Have we seen the pyramid item?
No, I don't think we have.
Okay. Yeah. Other than no, we also haven't seen Nagina. That is a light world check.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, but at this point though, it's kind of unlikely that our runners are going to go. I mean, they will eventually probably go over there, whether it's via the flute and myths and mirror or just the book. But right now though, there's not like just having one check over there, like that's pretty remote. Isn't really going to draw our runners over there.
Yeah, and I'm also remembering that Kappa did only do the front 4 of Thieves Town. So
that's
maybe Furaime makes a decision to full clear it. It's a bit early still though, so I'm not sure that would be their choice. So we'll see.
I wonder how both runners feel about the backup pendant Thieves Town, because that's exactly what happened on game 1, and that's where their boots were.
Yeah. And finally we see some value here. Kappa pulling a mirror out of Pod Big Chest.
Alright, so it looks like Pendant Pod was actually quite the solution. Not only did he find the mirror, which is definitely hard to acquire for progression, we do have Swamp Palace open to us now. We have Swamp Palace open, not to mention we need a Returnal Rock eventually. But we also found a really nice sword upgrade.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things he has available now that was not available earlier when Furaime went up the mountain is to actually go up into Hera and check East Death Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts a lot open with that mirror.
All right, so shortly, of course, Kappa, is able to see his way through this cave. Probably not going to be that much more of a time save, just because you really can't move very fast while you're escorting the old man. But at least he doesn't do it. He doesn't have to do it in the dark.
Yeah, there's another one of those tricks too that helps. If you have the red cane, you can lay a block and carry it, and it helps you move faster. But I suppose.
Kappa is getting pretty bully here up on Death Mountain. Every single time, this is just the nature of Death Mountain. Every single time you try and start your dash, you get interrupted by a boulder or a dead rock.
Yeah, it looks like Furaime is going into the back as well of Thieves Town.
Alright, I certainly hope that in this case, Thieves Town, the back of Thieves Town does pay out for him. Oh no, the hallway though is not making his life any easy. Alright, so this might be one of those times where if he can make it through, he's going to powder the fancy fairy at the back so he doesn't die. Oh wow!
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Nails it.
Yes. No one was worried whatsoever. Of course, that Furaime was gonna die. Yeah. So this is definitely one of those times where you're not going to mind menuing to the powder just to buy yourself that extra time, because when you pause, things stop. Also, like things don't move, as opposed to when you're quick swapping, things are still trying to come after and kill you.
So far, just a big 20 in the attic. And I actually missed what was on Floating Island. I know Kappa checked it, but...
Yeah, I unfortunately was also watching for I'm trying not to die. So
yeah,
I also did not catch what was on Floating Islands. Alright, Kappa's gonna give us more checks. I know he yeah. That's really a timely heart refill.
Yeah, perfect time, because then you can go into the next room and kill all the mold orms with sword beams and hit the switch as well.
That's exactly what he did. Alright. Alright, so... Oh
wow.
my gosh! Wow! Did we just see vanilla mitts coming out of Beachtown? Holy cow! That is huge for Furaime, because that, I don't, like, Kappa's gonna spend a lot more time outside before he comes back to Thiefstown and does the back. Alright, so I think Furaime is gonna opt to well, basically, okay, he found basically, I think, the last item, I assume, out of Thiefstown. He's going to basically bet that he does not need to kill a blind, so he's just going to die. But killing those myths out of Thiefstown, though, Manila for that matter, is quite defiant for Furaime.
Yeah, it's gonna turn into another seed like last race where Furaime gets those mitts and Kappa's gonna end up searching for them. So let's hope that he gets them, relatively early, like last time, and if to make this a race.
Yeah. Well, of course, right. So that being said, though, Kappa still is able to still do a lot of things without the mitts. And if really if it's mitts go mode for you, it does actually end up blocking out a bunch more stuff. Like it really severely limits to where your mitts can be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But of course, with the mitts though, especially assuming Furaime ends up going to pod and picking up his mirror, he can also just be a lot more efficient in order to be able to do everything in one trip. Looks like Furaime though is actually going to at least make his mischecks, some of his mischecks immediately. Going to turn in his blacksmith and check King's Tomb along the way. We just found all 4 swords.
All right, well, no one's gonna need a cape.
Yeah, assuming Furaime ends up going to pen and pod relatively earlier, yeah, he's going to be able to find the Master Sword, which is, I think, right on the way in the arena chest or something like that. And then, Crystal Hera, that chest, like, no one's going to miss, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much a free chest at this point. And it's funny, though, because, we're in one of those states that, because the routing was different early on, we see some nice divergence to get an interesting race where Kappa has a mirror to open a bunch of stuff up, and Furaime has the mitts to open a bunch of stuff up. So, you're gonna have to chase either one. I think I'm trying to figure out who gets kind of deadlocked first, right? Before it's like, okay, I'm missing something. Like, I got to go search for places that I have open to me now.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a good question. Looks like Kappa is also going to make his venture into Spike Cave. No Spike left behind. That's right. Looks like Furaime though is actually just like last game. He's probably going to pick up purple chest and do mirrorless purple chest, just like last game.
Yep. Not going to be a lamp. Okay. Not this time, anyway. It is interesting, also from Furaime's perspective, they don't really have a reason to go to pod right away now. They can go to Ice Palace after this. Look for more progression in there.
That's true. And of course, with the Cane of Samaria, that is going to be actually a pretty appealing option. Especially if we can do Icebreaker, Ice Palace is going to go by pretty quickly. And, the mirror isn't really going to help him in Ice Palace as well. Another sword, or Master Sword, would be nice. However, though, we do have the hammer, we have half magic, and we have Fire Rod. So I don't really imagine Cold Stare or the rest of Ice Palace really being that much of a difficulty.
Yeah, and it looks like Furaime getting taunted with some money there, getting a 300 out of the purple chest.
It's like, why couldn't I have this before, Sora?
Thanks, game.
Alright,
yeah, like Kappa finished up Hera, which gives him access to the Pyramid Fairy. And so these are, he's waited to do Pyramid until having this available so we can loop this all in together and not have to visit the area 2 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is definitely going to be pretty efficient routing. He's going to do Pyramid, right into Big Bomb, right into Pyramid, and presumably Catfish, or north further, to go to like Graveyard Ledge.
Wow, there's some value.
That is pretty important. Finding the hook shot, so that unlocks Swan Palace for Kappa. We are seeing some very different paths that our runners are taking. Both runners are, of course, making some very good progress, just in completely different directions that the other runner still also needs to do.
Yeah, it's also important to point out here that the mirror in Pod was blocking the hook shots, right? Because you had to get to Hera somehow, and the only way to get up there is either with the hook shot or with the mirror. So Furaime needs to make his way over to Pod as soon as he can to go grab that mirror out of Pod Big Chest.
Yeah, looks like Furaime is trying to set up Icebreaker. Probably gonna try. I know he wants to do this bufferless, but maybe he'll eventually resort to some pause buffers to get through. Also, somewhat amusing that just based on Kappa's route, right? He is at like a 2-sword upgrade. I think he's seen, and he's seen the 4th sword too. I guess Furaime also seen the 4th sword, but yeah, definitely in terms of offense, though, Kappa is at a pretty strong advantage.
Actually, yeah, it's funny because similarly, the other sword was in Pod and the other one was behind the mirror. So, without going into Pod, he can't even get any more swords unless he finds the cape in Ice Palace. But,
early big key is nice. That book is going to lead Furaime straight over to desert. Oh wow, this is pretty.
Ooh, that yeah.
And at least at least Meyer is going to be is a pendant. So if Furaime ends up going to desert now or right after Ice Palace, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. Chances are, hopefully, that he doesn't have to go back and visit the Meyer area again.
Yeah, and one other thing that is interesting about that book is by the time he does find the mirror, he can go up. When he does go up Death Mountain to do Hera, he'll be able to check Ether Tablet. There's something there that's a pretty isolated location for Kappa to have to get back to. I'm trying to figure out what we even need between the runners to complete the seed. I think we need a flute and an ice rod. Maybe bombos at this point.
Right. So Turtle Rock is a crystal, so for sure we still need the classic ice rod hunts that's very common here in Rando. Do you need a flute necessarily?
Yeah, you're right. We don't even need a flute.
Yeah, of course, unless something is required in Meyer. Stupid Bari.
Every time.
And we don't know where Bombos is, but if Turtle Rock is a crystal and we already have a requisite medallion, then we probably don't need much else.
Yeah, it's getting to the point that Kappa's going to start getting locked out without the mitts pretty soon here. Not much left to check except for some pretty annoying checks like Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb with the mirror, and Catfish. So.
Alright, Furaime looks like he's actually having a bit of a cold stare party, which this is never a party that we want to be a part of. Unfortunately, it does ran out of match. Oh my gosh, please, Furaime, be careful.
Ooh, be careful.
Yeah. So cold stare. Oh no!
Did he have a fairy?
He does have a fairy.
Okay. Yeah, I think he wouldn't have been that aggressive without it.
Definitely a very heads-up play for him in order to use that bug net and catch the fairy early on. Alright, looks like he does take care of it. Did not get hit necessarily, but at least he survived and does not have to repeat Ice Palace.
And Kappa taking down both runners taking down bosses here, and puts them at 4 crystals to 3.
Yeah, and just based on the different paths, right, that both Kappa and Furaime have taken, Furaime has kind of gone the I found the myths, and it hasn't led me to much offense, as opposed to Kappa, who found the mirror in Pendant Pod, has found two extra swords, and like, I don't know, 6 extra hearts or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. We saw a lot of green 20s in Swamp, so.
Oh yeah, that's true, because Kappa also went up the mountain with that mirror, right? And he was able to end up checking a lot more things than Furaime ended up doing. Yeah, so of course, this is being the hard item pool. We are not going to see any more health on Kappa's side, or I mean, we're hopefully going to see more on Furaime's side eventually. But we are capped at 14. So anything else that would have been a hard container or hard piece is just going to be a 20 rupees.
So I know we saw a book in Ice Palace, but I wasn't able to catch it. Did we get all of the items, or was anything left behind?
I think we got everything. I know we saw a red shield being pulled out in a book. Ice-T did have compass, and I'm pretty sure Furaime would not have left an item behind.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, just given that he has, he's done all of Pendant Thieves Town. He did not gamble his away. He didn't gamble away the vanilla big chest, vanilla big key chest in Eastern Palace. Can't imagine him deciding to orphan an item in Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's true. He's been very thorough in clearing dungeons that he's gone into, including Thieves Town, which has paid off so far.
Alright, so Furaime did end up blocking the big key off of the torch. We do know that Deserts of Blues locked. I unfortunately did not catch if there were any items that picked up. He did skip the big key. Sorry, the big chest. Maybe gambling that Lamo's going to have the last item?
Yeah, it might be one of those plays where if you don't find the item on Lanmo, you just pop back in and grab the big chest. We'll see here.
Alright, so presumably Kappa went back in for left side swan. Looks like nothing of value was found. I managed to take a glance at his screen and I saw like 10 arrows. Not sure if I saw enough to be the other item.
I think it was a green 20.
Okay, alright, so then yeah, totally worthless. Unfortunately. So with that mirror in hand, Kappa is going to make the rest of his mirror checks. Presumably he's also going to be able, well no, he can't do the chest. What else is he gonna have left?
Yeah, I'm thinking here because, all he has left is the North Dark World checks.
Oh, he has Graveyard Ledge, that's right.
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, and Catfish, but does he do Thieves Town before those? He's already been in there once. I wonder if, he made a decision to get the 4 and then leave because he got hit while he was in there and only ended up having a single heart. And decided, I only have 1 heart anyway, I got an item out of here, that's progression, I might as well just take the Death Warp, and if I need to, I'll come back later.
Yeah, I mean, at least like when he did take that last hit, it looked intentional. However, though, like it certainly could be right in that like maybe he was kind of like on the fence about whether or not he wanted to do the back. Oh, alright, so Furaime taking down Lanmo, I did see a bunch of fire rod shots go off with half magic. This is pretty straightforward. Presumably, though, Furaime did not end up finding the last item on Lanmo.
Yeah. Looks like just going to clear the dungeon back to front, the Skullwoods way.
Yeah, and this totally is very reasonable. It's actually pretty efficient because I believe Furaime has actually also not checked Agita. So just going things from back to front, just going to be super on the way, especially if the last item was in the big chest.
Wow. Okay. There we go.
Yeah. All right. So that's also a pretty important find. I think this is all that we need between our two runners. Correct?
Yeah. Depending on the medallion,
Yeah.
we might be in no mode here.
All right. Okay. So we just need Furaime to go to Pendant Pod immediately in order to get his mirror. He will end up picking up his second sword along the way, and then kind of depending on what happens in Hera, I certainly hope that he opens it. Opens that I think the compass chest, I think, right before the big chest to find his temper sword. But other than that, should be good on his side. Kappa looks like he is actually making the play into the back of Peace Town, so this is actually the correct play for him.
Yeah, skipping all the gross North Dark Overworld checks, and yeah, I can't imagine once you find the mitts here, you have a lot of crystal dungeons just open. Well, maybe not a lot. Ice Palace, but we know Ice Palace leads to Desert Palace with the book, and then you find the Ice Rod in there. So it seems like a pretty straightforward route from here, as long as he follows these mitts in order to clear dungeons rather than continuing checking Overworld. But
yeah. So this is looks like Furaime is going to make his way over to Pendant Pod. This is going to be quite the race.
Yeah, it's a close one again.
Yeah. Furaime's going to certainly be very happy in order to find his Master Sword and mirror. And then, presumably, after he finds the mirror, he is going to nope out and presumably go mode the rest of his dungeons. Because, as you said, I think all we need left at this point is we might be a medallion short, and it's not probably going to be worth it to either of these runners in order to try and full clear dungeons, just looking for that last chance.
Yeah, what we might see end up happening here, though, when he picks the mirror up, he'll have access to all of Dark Death Mountain as well, and if he can get into TR, he can clear it. It's definitely a possibility that a hookshot could be in TR. We might see him have to be full clearing TR, where Kappa full cleared Swamp. We know that Furaime will have go mode with hookshot based on this layout, and Kappa will have go mode mitts. So, and this is of course assuming we have all the medallions we need.
Yeah, I forgot. You're right. No, I totally forgot about the hookshot. So hookshot go mode is also the case for Furaime, except the hookshot was found in Spike Cave, which nobody appreciated that. So you're definitely right in that after the mirror, there is going to be a lot available to him up on the mountain. I wonder though. But he still needs the crystal from Hera, right, in order to do the Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, exactly. But being up there and having access to it, it's something you want to make sure you don't leave anything behind. And,
right. Yeah.
We'll know about the hookshot.
All right. So there is Kappa's mitts. Not even bothering Force, just like Furaime, to rescue the maiden and to keep blind.
Poor demon.
Yeah. No pun for us today.
That's true.
Alright, some nice mimics there on Furaime's side. Looks like Kappa though, he is still locked out of. We're still a couple items away from at least for Kappa's go mode. So he's definitely going to be able to check Henry pegs, do the Smith's chain. He will have the mirror, unlike Furaime, so he can have a slightly faster time turning in the purple chest.
Yeah, able to just do these checks real quick, and this is. It's not really along the way, but if you turn in the Smith, grab the purple chest, and turn it in, then you can just dash over to Ice Palace and head right in.
Yeah, and Kappa is also going to full clear Ice Palace, just like what Furaime did.
Yeah, setting up the purple chest cloning here.
Oh, right. Yeah, because Kappa with the mirror earlier, he's already made all his mirror checks, so this is going to be a very fast trip over to the locksmith.
Yeah, Furaime's in a really weird position because of where the hookshot is, actually. So, you know, once he finds the mirror, he presumably leaves and then goes up Death Mountain to... All of a sudden, he has access to everything on Death Mountain, Dark Death Mountain, TR, Hera, the whole shebang. And we know that the hookshot's not there, but, you know, it's going to take him a bit to kind of read out the rest of like what was intended on the seed.
Yeah, and he's also going to spin because he has the book, right? He's also going to be able to check either tablet as well.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Furaime has claimed his big prize, big chest prize from Dungeon from Pod, with the mirror and of course the new Master Sword in hand. Looks like we are going up the mountain, as predicted. Furaime activating his spin speed successfully definitely shows we can actually see quite the difference between a successful spin speed allows us to, you know, at least have a better chance of dodging all those boulders and dead rocks. Some really nice bomb strats there on Kappa side. I think Furaime actually does something very similar.
Yeah, they both do similar bomb strat. I really like that one. It's cool. It's really clean, and you don't always have, you know, Tempered Sword or Hookshot or anything in here, so it's good to have. You always have bombs. It's Ice Palace, right? Bomb Jump Palace.
Yeah.
There's what, I think like 4 bomb jumps in here that are all useful.
Yeah, have you ever tried to do Ice Palace the developer intended way without bomb jumps or anything like that? You are in for... I hope you really like Ice Palace. How's that?
Yeah, it's a long dungeon to walk through and solve the puzzle for.
Yeah, and not only that, like you're going around in circles like 3 different times or something. Alright, Kappa.
Yeah. And there we got another sword.
Yep, we got
I bet he's glad to see that.
Oh yeah. So, just given the amount of health and we see the equipment that we see on Kappa's side, we are not going to be looking for any more upgrades. I mean, nothing really is even available to us at this point. All right, so we have Tempered Sword. We're not going to be able to see Gold Sword today based on heart item pool. We have 14 hearts, so no more health for us, and we actually have on Furaime's side, and shortly here on Kappa's side, we're going to get a Fire Shield. And so no Mirror Shield today. No troubles from Moldorms either. Looks like Furaime and Kappa managed to stay on the platform. No bullying from Moldorms.
No knockdowns today.
That's right. So it looks like both our runners are, they're going to be tied up momentarily after Kappa finishes his 5th crystal, but Furaime, in this case, at least has a temporary crystal lead. Oh, okay, that's nice. Furaime, yeah, giving us a double check here. At least we see the Cane of Burna available for us in Floating Islands.
Yeah, now we know that the powder was in Logic. So, good information.
So with the Titan's Mitts and the mirror, Furaime has decided to get bullied by the little Moldorm outside his spiral cave. But I don't see him picking up the Cane of Burna once he does all his Dark Death Mountain stuff. Yeah, I don't see him, but I guess like he maybe wants it. You know, it is not a bad state to do.
Yeah, it's not really useful for that much at this point in the game. They're pretty much decked out, right? And he's at 12. He'll get the 14 hearts. He's got about as much safety as he's going to need for the rest of the season.
So Kappa having, I would say, a significantly nicer fight on his side for Cold Stare. Yeah, I think what we saw on Kappa said earlier, there was a lot of health in this in Paradox Cave as well, and Furaime is really inching up to that 14 hearts. Oh yeah, and he has a red bottle. Okay, so he's probably not going to get the King of Bird at this point.
Yeah, so now both runners are tied at 5 crystals, with the difference being Kappa completing Swamp Palace and Furaime completing Desert. So.
Yeah, but Kappa though is very shortly on his way to his 6th crystal.
Looks like he'll like check Bombo's tablet along the way.
Oh yeah, this is actually good. This is going to be efficient. You know, with the mirror, it's almost a free check at this point, right?
Yeah, you know, he's still looking for the ice rod. We know where it is, but you know, it could be here. Why not? He just found the book.
Yeah, certainly hoping that it's not an ether tablet from his perspective. All right, it is ether. We have everything that we need for the scene.
Ooh boy. Well, bombs on Bombo's tablet. That's pretty close, right?
All right, so presumably Furaime's going to go in and full clear Turtle Rock. We know the hookshot isn't here, but just kind of based on the key layout in Turtle Rock, Go-Mo Turtle Rock isn't really going to be that much faster than not Go-Mo Turtle Rock. Presumably, though, because Furaime is still looking for the hookshot, he is going to do Mimicking after he doesn't find anything here in Turtle Rock, which might be a little bit extra time.
Yeah, the only, well, not the only, but pretty much the biggest time save you have here is not checking Lava Chest and finding all the small keys before Laser Bridge, which is, you know, it's pretty slow. A lot of screen transitions and going through the vacuum tubes.
Alright, so Furaime, just like game 1, knows that he doesn't have the hookshot, so he has to kind of take the long way and doing the damageless version of torches.
Yep. It's a mistake that, you know, this late in the match, it's easy to make.
Actually, it looks like Kappa is going to opt to actually do the right side desert instead of going to the boss first. So he is going to find his ice rod right here, and that will put Kappa in. Yeah, in pretty much medallion no mode. He is just going to, well, so we definitely pulled both items out of desert. So he's going to have no qualms about just killing Lemo outright. But at this point, oh yeah, actually this is his 6th crystal, so he is going to have no qualms with just going up the mountain. If he, you know, is still missing Quake, he is no worse off than, if he's still missing Bombos, you know, for potentially entry into Turtle Rock, like, he's not any worse off than he was before.
Yeah, I think at this point, you know, you gotta, you know, when you're running against, you know, these great opponents here and everyone in this group is really good, you just got to assume you're in go mode and kind of pray at this point.
Yeah, and you know, the odds are in your favor, right? Because you know, you do have 2 medallions out of the 3, right? Like, what are the chances that you need the last one? I mean, it's, you know, it's not even majority.
Yeah, the odds are in your favor, exactly. Do wonder where Bombos is, though.
Yeah, no, this is that's a good question. There are kind of, you know, a couple items I'm kind of curious about, like where that cape is, for that matter.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. We did see a sword. I mean, maybe it's what we said earlier, that, you know, we find the cape in validation chest or something silly.
Yeah, maybe, you know, by the time these runners get to GT, you know, like, we'll hopefully be able to take a sneak peek if the big key's buried. That last Moldor, that last Lambo, just getting away from, manages to take it down in 2 cycles.
Yeah, trying to escape there, but, you know, his inevitable fate being taken down. And as we see Furaime going through Turtle Rock here, trying to clear out everything, looking for that elusive hookshot.
Yeah, And because he is only one item from Go mode, it is actually faster. It's in order to check that big chest first in Turtle Rock, because if your Go mode item is there, you don't have to do Mimic Cave. But unfortunately, we know where the hookshot is, and of course the big chest just had a small key, so he's gonna come back and check the Mimic Cave. That will cap off Furaime with a maximum amount of health that he's gonna find in the scene.
Yeah, it's funny too because Kappa got like all of his health in Swamp Palace, and Ryan's getting all of his health in Turtle Rock. So it seems like the last 2 dungeons of these two were, finding all their health there. Different dungeons though.
Yeah, I do think though after Turtle Rock, Furaime, before committing to Swamp Palace, like he will probably do Pyramid Fairy. It's more likely. So I don't see him diving into Swamp Palace without the shots.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely, he knows it's in logic with Hera and everything. So, just thinking about it too, this is one of those seeds where I believe they both had to do the basement to complete Hera. So if you're waiting for a hookshot to complete Hera in this seed, you're going to be waiting a long time.
Yeah. It is actually, and actually just looking at the different paths that our runners took, right? So, and yeah, it actually kind of came down to how much do the mids lock you out of versus how much does that mirror lock you out of, right? Because Furaime ended up finding the mids early, led him on a completely different path, whereas Kappa found the mids pretty late, found the mirror pretty early.
Yeah, and the way the seed was laid out, mids opened a lot more than the mirror did.
Oh no, Furaime. That beetle, did not want to die or fall off the cliff, from the bounce of the Samaria block. But unfortunately, Furaime kind of decided to take a tumble with him, in solidarity. Show him how it's done. All right, so Kappa, having the fortune again from I think game 1 as well, having the hookshot for torches, can do this a little slightly faster.
Yeah, too bad he didn't pick up that blue cane. But it actually wouldn't have saved time, so.
Yeah, alright, so Furaime on to try next. Looks like he's going to opt to just do front door. No real harm, just back door if done properly. Just guarantees the 1 cycle, but looks like Furaime's going to end up getting it anyway, so it doesn't actually matter. It's pretty clean phase 1.
Yeah, very nice so far.
Yeah, so for phase 2, Furaime's going to hope for that double spin, and super fast phase 2. Just needed 1 more slash, before Try Next to even manage to touch him.
Yeah, nailed that quick kill.
Oh, Kappa though. In the Chomps room, everybody loves Chomps. They are, many runners' favorite room in the entire game. Does 4 hearts of damage per Chomp, and you're certainly very fortunate if you only escape with 1 bite.
Yeah, they tend to slowly bounce at you once you activated the chest too. Like as you're walking over, they kind of just sneak into your way a bit, and then they charge at you after the 3rd bounce.
Furaime demonstrating the power of Soar Beams against Baris. That guy was super in his way.
Just like you said earlier, it's always great to have.
Yeah, and of course, Furaime, despite having the boots, he knows that because he needs the hookshot, none of those items remaining in hookshot cave could have the hookshot. So no need to even bother with those shots.
Yeah, and then now the game again taunting him with all the money he missed early. Just throwing another $70 in Super Bunny Cave at him.
Alright, so clearing out the mountain for basically everything else, Furaime is going to... Well, at least he's going to go into the Dark World, at least via the correct portal. This is going to be a question now whether he decides to Pyramid Fairy, which hopefully he does, versus committing to Spawn. Alright, looks like we're going to do a big bomb. So Furaime, with this, is going to find his hookshot in Pyramid very, very shortly.
Yeah, he will be in go mode here in a minute. And very nice to get to do Go Mode Swamp Palace. It's a much faster dungeon when you Go Mode it.
Oh yeah. Because all you need is that small key in the front, and looks like Furaime is actually going to set up a big bomb dupe for us. Really nicely done. So he does have a setup for when you start his dash. So if you transition on the same, if you screen transition at the same time the timer hits 0, you can, the game thinks, oh, you still have the big bomb, let me just copy it for you. So it's right here waiting.
Yeah, very nicely done. And
that's right. Not even checking the second chest. He knows there is nothing of value for him left remaining. Presumably, this is going to be the fastest way back to Swamp. Is my guess. Instead of going through the portal again, I guess I'm not sure like what the time is.
Yeah, I guess without the flute too. Not much. I mean, I guess you could save and quit and go to the portal, but yeah, I think just running back. Ooh, getting bodied by the high knock there.
Yeah, Dark World definitely hits a lot. Despite the fact we have 14 hearts, we are still on green mail, and that health isn't necessarily even going to get chipped away. He was just going to get like robbed from you, handfuls at a time.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like death by 1,000 cuts. It's like death by a butcher knife.
Alright, so with this, Kappa has claimed his 7th crystal. Do we play some sort of game at this point?
Yeah, so with that, we have 22 locations in Ganon's Tower where the big key can be. And get your guesses in chat as to where that is. We will stop the game as soon as Kappa enters GP. What's your guess going to be? I think you got it right last time. So.
I did, and I didn't even put it in chat. So you know what? I'll go with 14 again.
All right, sounds good. So we're going to see the big key in the 14th check that Kappa does. So make sure that everyone's counting.
Yeah, and we are get your guesses in very shortly because Kappa's going to enter GT in right now. So. Alright, looks like Kappa consistent with games 1 and 2. We are going to go right side first. And if there is a small key, which there is, we are going to continue on to Compass Room. We are not going to continue on to Compass Room with that small key. We're going full left, apparently. Just wanted to check Hope Room.
Yeah, pretty... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, small key on the torch. So very easy key to obtain. Probably will actually end up saving him in Compass Room if they end up going over there later.
So that was chest number 7 here?
Yeah, I think that's true. So, because we found 2 in Hope Room, 1 on the torch, and then 4 here in Stalfus Room.
And Furaime's approaching Argus right now, so
yeah, no,
won't be that far behind, but it's a fair bit of time to make up here.
Yeah, at this point, something pretty unfortunate would have to happen to Kappa. Looks like Furaime is actually going to try and go for the 0 cycle. Just made it. Super. And a fast phase, fast phase 2 Argus kill, 2 fire rush shots right in the corner, very close to not even have to move to get the sword spin.
That was 9, right? I think this is 13. 10 through 13 in here.
I'm gonna let's go with yes so far.
Okay.
I
always kind of forget what the chests are. it's one of those, once you're in GT, you just look for it until you find it. You're not counting in your head.
That's right. Furaime, alright, on his way up Death Mountain, he has a really nice Waffle House screen, did not take any damage, but looks like he does not want any more business with the Dead Rock. It's questionable whether or not this way is actually faster than the Light World version, especially when you already have the Turtle Rock portal open to you. But this route doesn't have any Dead Rocks. Meanwhile, Kappa refighting Armos Knights, except of course this time on ice. Is he gonna be able to recover from this?
Well, he does it without wasting an arrow, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Still need at least 8 for the climb, and assuming you don't miss, and finds arrows anyway.
So looks like actually the big key is now behind Ice Armos. So it's either in Compass Room, which case, if Furaime actually goes right, because we did see a small key in Hope Room, he is actually going to save quite a bit of time. Or if it's on Tile Room, then we're kind of back to the same lead that we had before.
Yeah, this just got really tight, assuming that Furaime goes full right here, so let's find out.
At least in the past, Furaime has gone full right, or not full right, all the way at least to Compass Room. And actually, so yeah, we are baited in suspense here, Kappa.
Yeah. Edge of our seats.
Yeah, Furaime is going full. Furaime's going right. It is in Tile Room.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, man. Oh. That is painful.
Fabled 22 test.
Alright, so unfortunately, or fortunately, we get more content as viewers. We are going to see 2 clears of GT basement.
Yeah.
In this case. Alright, so I guess our runners were, fortunate enough to avoid Tile Room and Hera Basement. Despite the fact that Hera was a crystal, but looks like they could not avoid it this time around in Ganon's basements. Alright, Kappa claimed his big key, remembering that he would like magic for the climb as he ascends the gauntlet and picks up his full magic refill before he goes up.
Yeah, it's always interesting in Tile Room. It usually means that the first runner into GT is going to be way ahead, and definitely have seen some races this tournament where runners choose to go either left or right, and then whichever one picks wrong ends up losing, even losing a lead here, almost similar to what could have happened to Kappa in the scenario that the big key was in Compass Room. But didn't see that here today.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, it is exactly 1 out of 22 locations, and just because of how the placement algorithm works, they always place the GT big key first, so it's always going to be 1 out of 22.
Ah, yes.
I was gonna say, what are the chances of this actually happening? It's just well, it's actually 1 out of 22.
Yeah, it's pretty precise, right?
Yeah. Alright, so Kappa, of course, armed this time with half magic and pretty healthy, relatively speaking. Is not going to opt his good safety room. This is quite a bit of contrast to his last game against Furaime, where he did not have half magic. He basically was magic starved the entire time, and I kind of had to stop by the safety room. And losing a little bit of time to Furaime in that case. Yeah,
and I think he had a potion, but he ended up needing it on the climb at some point, so he was going up pretty empty-handed. No safeties at all along the last race.
Yeah, alright, so going through the gauntlet, G3 looks like wasn't really cooperative. That Blue Zizak did not want to die. The other ones, though, should look pretty decent. A little surprised that Kappa didn't want to pull out the Fire Rod to just kind of burn through everything, because he does have half magic, but he still manages to make it through for long.
Yeah, I think some runners prefer using the bow on the climb, some prefer the Fire Rod. I think it's just a matter of preference.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you come from a more NMG background, right? You don't have the luxury of half magic and fire rod, so you're definitely more adept to using the bow.
So yeah, I think Furaime's going to be pretty disappointed to see Tile Room here.
Yeah, this race could have been so close, and unfortunately, I mean, and of course, you know, like some people I think do have like I think there's a meme or something that you know you do Tile Room first. It is, I mean, it's not a worthwhile gamble, right? It is literally 1 in 22 chance that you're going to get the
Yeah, it's not a coin toss or anything.
Alright, so Kappa, remembering that he did not pick up the small key from Compass Chest, from the room right after Compass Chest, he did need to kill the mini Helmosaur in order to get his last key in order to get through. Alright, so...
yeah, leaving the key down there.
Yeah, so the last Light World boss fight also manages to not knock Kappa off the platform.
Wow, okay.
Thanks Kappa for checking. The validation chest, we found our flute. So yeah, definitely not needed this scene. On to the second to last boss of the game for Kappa and for this series. Aghanim 2, we need 6 energy shots to him. That looks like it was 2-2 so far.
Yeah, I think I saw 2 doubles.
We see that blue balls are just as pesky in Aghanim 2 as they are in Aghanim 1. Alright, you know, it's a good thing that Kappa opened up the last chest to find the flute, because otherwise we would just be stuck on the top of Aghanim's tower, or Ganon's tower, and we would have no way out in order to fly to the pyramid.
Yeah, I imagine having to walk all the way back down just to fight Ganon, like, thanks, game.
Alright, so Furaime is starting his gauntlet right as Kappa is counting down to fight Ganon. So with Temper Sword, half magic, this should be as cushy as a fight as these runners can get. And Kappa even has full health too. Alright, looks like he's actually having a pretty good phase 1 and 2 so far.
Yeah, easy 1-1 there.
Yeah, not even worried about health. Of course, Ganon does 8 hearts of damage, these fire bats do 4 hearts of damage, as we just saw on Kappa's side demonstrated. But of course, that's only just for phases 1 and 2, the most dangerous part. It's going to be over, every fire bat is going to do 2 hearts of damage, which I think Kappa also has a red potion with him, so...
Yeah, I know he has at least 1 potion of some kind.
Alright, does have the lamp out, gonna spam that. With half magic, it's I really don't see magic being an issue. Does get torch glitch because of that, so he has plenty of time in order to do triples.
Yeah, very nice triple setups here.
Kappa certainly taking the time to make sure that he does not get knocked off the platform, because you don't really want to start your Ganon fight all over again.
Yeah, very safe to set it up this way and still get triples, you know, you don't lose almost any time at all.
Unfortunately, didn't quite get there in time, but doesn't matter because Kappa has landed his 12th silverless hit. So he is just waiting for this fanfare. He is going to cross this bridge, and he is going to finish first place in our race today with an official time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 2 seconds. Get your GGs out. And Kappa, in chat, and he will take this series over Furaime, facing off and winning game 3. Right as Kappa has defeated Ganon, Furaime is on his way to defeat Aghanim 2. Speaking of which, we are joined here by the winner of our series. GG's, Kappa.
GG's.
GG's.
So, how are you feeling?
I had some trouble clicking the done button. It took a few seconds. My cursor went off the window.
Oh, looks like you had a couple seconds to spare.
Yes.
So thoughts about I guess like how the seed went for you. So how did you feel about finding boots at check 3 and then like a sword at check 5?
Oh, it's gonna be like the second game. I lost that game. That's bad. Then there was an item in Pendant TT, so it was like the first game again. So that's good.
All right, yeah, I guess that happened, and a pretty I would say unsavory location. Not as bad I think as the first game that you guys had for the hook shot, but I don't know. I mean, the fact that you had to get the mirror out of Pendant Pod, right, and they go up the mountain, beat Hera, and they come back down the mountain in order to get hook shot out of Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the mirror.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I like Pyramid Fairy, so I was like, as soon as I saw I could do Pyramid Fairy, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I like Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, definitely paying off here as you know, as it locked up everything.
Yeah, and your early play to Eastern Palace definitely helped you out quite a bit. You were pretty conscious of your money management. I think you ended up picking up the back 90 rupees, which let you buy the glove off of Zora.
Well, yeah, I was considering just skipping that area, like going to that area early, except I get the bow and I can easily short my money there. So I can finally justify water walking the hobo and doing the rest of the water area later. And naturally, hobo has nothing.
Yeah, we did notice that you decided to visit Hobo early this scene, unlike the last time, the last 2 games actually.
Yeah, and of course when you do, there's nothing there.
Yep.
So it looks like Furaime is about to take down Ganon here. I think on the last cycle, I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like actually he did take a little bit of a damage. Ended up drinking a red potion to make sure he doesn't die, but otherwise, no worries, Ganon.
Yeah, taking him down. Get your GGs in chat for Furaime.
Alright, looks like Furaime has finished officially in second place with an official time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 36 seconds. GG's, Furaime. Ran a really great series. I certainly appreciate you going into the tavern and getting the pun out of the old man.
Oh, yeah. Is that different every time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, but otherwise, Kappa, it looks like actually you were going to face the winner of Aussie and Scrub Casual. I think they played 1 game earlier. I think Aussie took it. I'm not sure when their second game is, but any thoughts about your potential matchup?
Yeah, well, it's gonna be a little frightening, but yeah, I'll just meme again. Hope it works. It's my only strategy.
Wait, were you memeing like this series?
I mean, I tried.
We did appreciate you opening validation chest though and seeing that there was indeed the flute there.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great flute. You know, as expected. That way you could get down from the top of Ganon's tower to go fight Ganon.
Oh yeah. Furaime had finished maybe at a went and turned it on, but that was unnecessary.
But yeah, so I mean, of course, best case scenario is you are going to take on next week's opponent, winner of Aussie and Scrub Casual series, and then win that, and then you are done for groups, and you will be able to advance to brackets.
Oh yeah, big F though.
But,
Yeah, it looks like they have their race scheduled on Friday at 8:40 Eastern time, 8:40 p.m. Eastern time. So.
yeah, okay, that's cool. And then, of course, you know, if the unfortunate outcome occurs, then maybe you and Furaime will have a rematch with 3.
Oh,
That'll be pretty exciting.
that'd be nice too. I'd agree to it.
Yeah. And any final thoughts about the seed, about the series? Any words to Furaime?
Well, there was a large stretch in there where I was praying that the GT Big Key was in tile room. I was like, maybe I should just do it before I do the right side. If it's on the right side, I've probably lost. But in the end, I was a coward. So.
Yeah. So the timing of everything, the way it worked out, when you go with you entering GT versus Furaime, you were basically entering the tile room area the first time when you were going to do the right side as Furaime was entering GT. So it was within maybe 10 to 20 seconds if it was on the right side at that point.
Oh, yeah. Still would have been rather frightening, so
Yeah.
I guess.
We were really tense for like 30 seconds because as you were basically entering right side, Furaime was entering GT. We're just like
Very large sigh of relief when it is in fact the tile room with that route.
Yeah, because he definitely did go right side first.
Yeah, I thought he would, so I went left.
But I mean, you guys ran a really great race. Also, at least from my perspective, seeing a casual boots seed in a otherwise hard item standard pool tournament was very, very refreshing. So hopefully, some of you enjoyed the speed.
Yep, cool. Well, I got nothing else.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. GG's again.
GG's.
Yeah. And best of luck moving forward against Aussie or Scrub Casual.
Thanks to everyone for the production.
Yeah, thank you for racing, and thanks to Furaime as well.
Yeah, thanks, Furaime. Assuming you're still here. Yeah, thank you so much for for putting on this awesome series. Of course, we are always excited to see more content. So we're very happy to see a game 3. For 2 really awesome runners. Thanks to SpeedGaming for letting us host this tournament here. Thank you to Lady. I think she had a dropout a little bit earlier, but she was doing all the hard work behind the scenes, clicking up every single button for us to just basically look at to keep us all in line. Certainly very appreciated. And of course, Homemade Beer, thanks for the commentary. I can let you have the final words if you like.
Yeah, sure. No, thanks to everyone, of course, and it's always fun commenting with you, the Clear Beer team. And, yeah, it was a great race. This was a fun one to call, so I had a good time.
Oh yeah, and of course, today there are millions of not millions, but there are still lots and lots of matches either happening I think right now or right. Let's take a look at the quick schedule. 7:10, which is going on right now. There are 2 races. One on SpeedGaming 3, one on ALTTPR Randomizer in the name of DT versus StarX, and Falcon versus CS Tutor. And then at 9:10 on SpeedGaming Main, there is Annie versus 1UP, and then 3 races right around like the 11 p.m. mark. TJ Maelstrom versus Incoherent, JP versus Chimo, and Orange versus Asder. Certainly lots of rando yeah. Basically, a rando on the hour every hour available for you, and of course, plenty of more shows tomorrow. So until then, have a great night.
Have a great night.